Hey everyone, welcome to the energy report for the month of October 2022. I think this one is going to be pretty short and sweet. We'll see. No promises because it's me. So we've officially entered October. Today is October 1st as I record this, and we've also entered the final quarter of the year. So I have two cards to show you today. And I just want to talk a bit beforehand about the energy that I feel for both this month and the final quarter. So I've been anticipating October all year pretty much, and the final quarter of the year, because it's been a really beautiful year. Really, really energetically unique as far as I'm concerned. I've never felt a year like this before. A lot of quickening or acceleration in the awakening. I feel like I have experienced and witnessed quantum leaps in people's awakening this year. But the months of October and the final quarter feel heavy. They truthfully feel like we're entering a period of darkness that is going to require us, and by us, I mean you who are called to listen to me, most likely a carrier of the original angelic human template, or at least a very important portion of the angelic human template: indigo, starseed, galactic, angelic dragon, your archetypal self, the multidimensional hugeness that you are. So that's what I'm talking to you. We are entering a period of darkness wherein we are being called to step up into the role that we primarily came and agreed to, came here to fulfill, and that is being a light in the darkness. The importance of this is that, so I don't want to get lost in the weeds of predictions. That's not really my strong point. I don't actually know how these energies are going to manifest. What I tend to do is feel the energies while they are still non-physical. I feel them coming the same way that you can feel a storm coming before the clouds roll in. But there's just these like atmospheric subtle shifts that I am able to notice. They feel very strong to me. And this darkness is going to involve, as I interpret it, a lowering of the collective morale. So obviously I can speculate that it's probably going to involve even more deaths related to the virus and the false injection technology. But also there have been a lot of deaths that are not directly related to that. There have just been a lot of deaths. And it seems to me, the feeling that I have is it's at very least going to continue along at the current clip. Most likely it will increase over the cold, dark months here in the Northern Hemisphere. I'm certain that even though in the Southern Hemisphere, you'll be going into your warm months, your summer season, I'm nonetheless certain that all of this energetically will apply. Also, we've recently, just at the end of September, we saw the British pound really take a very significant hit in terms of its value. And that is one of the oldest and strongest fiat currencies. So for it to tank the way that it did is unprecedented and will absolutely have ramifications on all of us, regardless of where we live in the world and regardless of what currency we use. We're also seeing very concrete evidence of food shortages. I'm so fortunate to be living in a rural area, surrounded by farms, mostly like fairly small or to medium farm operations. So I have access to a ton of produce and a ton of high quality pastured meat. I'm not feeling the food shortage so much, but when I go to the grocery stores, I'm seeing evidence of it. And we are hearing reports of it in the news media. So these are just some examples of kind of what I'm anticipating will increase over the final quarter of this year, just a big contraction that like compresses us. There's also the eclipse season in Scorpio, which has to do with, as I understand on good authority from my personal astrologer, it has to do with the removal of codependency coping mechanisms that we've had. So, you know, that's basically having like certain crutches that aren't really good for us being taken away if we haven't already proactively given them up or started on the process of giving them up. Everyone who's still holding on to it is most likely going to have it destabilized and taken away, possibly completely. So there is just going to be a lot of chaos that we're moving into, a lot of change, and the collective morale is going to drop because the huge majority of the human collective still isn't awake and is in fact resisting awakening because they are in a state of trauma-based mind control. They're genuinely so afraid of the possibility that the conspiracy theories are true, even any of them, even a single one. They're so afraid that that might be true that they completely shut it out. They can't go there. A lot of people, let's remember, are working just to survive, are working, full-time jobs. Sometimes it's families with young children or children of any age, because teenagers need a lot of work too, who are, have two parents who are working, going to work 5 days a week, full-time hours, coming back every day and just having to like get their kids fed, get them bathed, get their teeth brushed, jammies on, into bed, so that they can basically start all over again the next day. Or there are people who are taking care of elderly or ill family members. There are, even if people are single, like the cost of living is going up significantly. So people are in survival mode, having to work, having to grind, having to stress, or we don't have to stress. But that is how we've been directed to respond to these things, right? Is to go into a state of stress and anxiety, lose sleep, have physical manifestations of that heightened level of stress. All of this is contributing to them literally not having the bandwidth to consider waking up. It's just, they're so afraid, they're so overwhelmed. And so all of the changes that are coming in rather rapidly at this time, I feel energetically that it's going to create significant lowering of the morale. It's just like everything keeps piling up and piling up and piling up, and people are getting tired and they're becoming afraid. They're having, collective PTSD triggered around communism, around wars, around famine, around plagues. It's really significant what the collective of humanity is shouldering. It is a collective dark night of the soul. So it is our job at this time to hold the light on behalf of humanity. This is why you awakened before this, the rest of humanity has. Even if you're just newly awakened or newly awakening yourself, it's okay. What it means is that you are now familiar to some degree or another with the process of having your entire world destabilized and your sense of identity destabilized, and taking, they say it's radical responsibility, radical self-responsibility, but it's not really radical. It's our rightful responsibility to truly accept that we are powerful creator beings. Now, honestly, I don't give a fuck if you're not ready to hear that. It's time for you to accept it. It is time that you are directly creating your own holographic field within the greater simulation. So you create an individual reality, and that reality coexists with all the other individual realities that everybody else is creating, directly creating, not influencing, creating. And the collective, like the combination of everybody's unique holographic field, everybody's unique reality is what creates and populates the consensus reality. So we need to accept our responsibility for this and hold that standard of existence for everybody else who is still asleep, because they can't do it. They're going to just have a bunch of like traumas being triggered all the time and be coming from a place of trauma response. What it means to hold the light is to, it doesn't mean that you have to feel good 100% of the time. I do believe that we're going into a period that is going to be challenging for all of us too. It's just that we have the skill set to be able to see beyond the challenge, to play the long game, to not get absolutely like sucked down into the panic and the fear of what we're, confronting or having activated, triggered in the immediate moment. So it doesn't mean that you have to feel good all the time. What it means is that you can be extra patient and generous with your assessment and interactions with other people. It means dropping terms like sheeple. If you're still using any terms like that, it's time to let that go, because those are our sacred brothers and sisters, and they are massively traumatized. If we took a collection of children that were being abused and brainwashed, and would we favor and prize the children who, for whatever reason, have the resilience to be able to keep a cool head and keep perspective of the whole thing, and then condemn a group of children that are they just want their mom. They just want somebody to come save them. They just want to feel safe, and they literally are crying and they don't know what to do. They don't know how to deal with it. Would we condemn those children? Would we make fun of them or belittle them? No, I mean, I wouldn't. I can't even fathom having that reaction around abused children. Well, guess what? We're all abused children. We all have an inner child aspect. Just because my body has physically grown and I've lived for 40 years doesn't mean that I am not also a child at the exact same time. I am. I have an inner child. There is a very real and important aspect of me that is as pure and innocent and loving and good, I guess, as I was when I was a child. You have that aspect. Every single human being on earth has that aspect. So it's no longer, I mean, it was never beneficial for us to condemn them in the first place, but certainly now it is not beneficial at all. So holding the light is being extra generous and forgiving, and being able to, even when somebody is acting like an asshole and projecting all of their trauma and their fear and their anxiety onto you, doesn't, like, turning the other cheek or whatever doesn't mean like, here, just, abuse me. It's not giving the green light to be mistreated. It's important to have boundaries and standards, but it is being able to see behind the surface level interaction, to see what is behind that person's mindset, that person's emotional state, that person's choices and behavior. Holding the light also means literally opening yourself up to receive the light codes, the plasmatic diamond sun light codes that are pouring in to to the entire galaxy, and possibly multiple galaxies. I don't actually know for sure. But regardless, from our own sun, certainly, but I do believe that every star in this galaxy is also experiencing the changes that our sun is changing, an amplification of the light, and an increase of gamma rays coming into Earth and being received by us, plasmatic, rainbow diamond light codes, all that kind of stuff. And I mean, I know that sounds so new agey, whatever. Like, it's like a nice thought. Oh, rainbow plasma diamond light codes. But last night I was lying in bed and I was literally feeling them, and I was opening up, and it's a feeling of just lying there or sitting there or whatever, passively opening yourself to receive these plasmatic geometric patterns that are rewriting your DNA and your RNA, it's penetrating beyond your DNA. Like, it's not just configuring your DNA, it's going all the way into the molecules that comprise your DNA, and the atoms that comprise those molecules, and the subatomic particles that comprise those atoms, and the quantum holographic field that underlies all of those subatomic particles. As we allow ourselves to receive them, it's also going to cause continued purging, which is not always super cool. Mine comes in the form of eczema and skin issues, often on my face, but also on my hands, on my arms. It sucks. My neck is super itchy right now. It's stressful. I don't love it. But last night, as I was receiving all of these light codes, I realized, yeah, that is what's happening. There is so much being rewritten at all levels of my body: physical, mental, emotional, auric, astral, etheric, my light body. There's literally plasma, diamond, rainbow, light frequencies coming in and reconfiguring all my shit and all of your shit too. And it's going to cause, we're undergoing a metamorphosis essentially. So opening yourself up to receive that and surrendering with as much grace as possible in any given moment to your body's process, your mental process, your emotional process, on all layers of detoxing density and illusion that no longer serves us. Holding the light, though, also, of course, means holding a frequency of love and a frequency of faith that even during these periods of darkness, I mean, the thing about the periods of darkness is that what they do is they create a sense of hopelessness. They create a sense of exhaustion, and it's like you lose sight of the light at the end of the tunnel, and you start to feel like everything's going wrong, and you're so tired, and what if we just give up? Or like, what if the darkness wins? What if we're not strong enough to hold the light? Or what if all of this is made up and we're just marching right into like a terrible, terrible hellscape on earth? It's natural that all those thoughts come in. They come into my field sometimes too. But our job is to hold the faith on behalf of humanity. Hold the faith. Connect with the God source, prime creator of your understanding. And develop a cord into that God source. It is a rightful cord. Most commonly, I experience it going up through the Sushumna line, coming from the chakras. So the cosmic God source is above. The cosmic mother manifested through physical earth, Tara, is below. And anchoring into those, making sure that you're deeply grounded into the love of the mother. And that this earth is not, you're not buying into the propaganda and the fear frequencies that have been, are running like an algorithm through the false matrix mainframe that causes us to feel like Earth is a terrible place to be, and having a physical body is a terrible burden, and that we just want to leave. That is programming. That is hijackery. Instead, connect deeply into the earth, as far down as you can naturally feel. Practice it and feel yourself going down farther and farther. Connect in first through your earth star, which is below your root, and connect it like into the soil of the earth, and then keep going from there. There are other chakras beneath that, and connect up into your soul star, which is 1 to 8 feet above your head, and just keep feeling higher and higher from there as you rebuild your connection with the God source, cosmic God, cosmic father consciousness, and the cosmic mother incarnated into Gaia Tara consciousness. Develop those connections and anchor yourself into there. When you're anchored into that, and you're anchored into the absolute, all-encompassing, unconditional, sublime love of the oneness of source, that's the light that you're holding. And also connecting deeply into your heart, engaging with life as much as you can through your heart portal. So opening this up so that you can feel life around you, feeling the environment, the room that you're in, or the space that you're in, feeling it through your heart, feeling any animals that are in your environment, or children, or other adults, or plants, just feeling the world through your heart chakra. These are all ways that we hold the light. Okay, so that's just my preamble energy of October. So I'm going to go into, well, October, November, December. I'm going to go into the card for the final quarter of the year. And I should say too, I feel like October is going to be hard, November is going to be hardest. And then in December, I still feel a lot of darkness, but I really feel like a sparkling, shimmering glimmer. There's this, it's maybe the solstice, it's maybe Christmas, and just the energy of that time and the way that it has been coded in our mythology, but it feels like a star. So either like the Star of Bethlehem, or the North Star, or the star card in the tarot. That's how December feels to me. So we are going into a period of darkness, but there is light. There is light in the darkness. So the card for the final quarter of the year is the Three of Pentacles. And the card for October is the Three of Cups. So the ultimate message is community, 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 community. It's all about community. It's all about connections. There's nothing more important for us to foster right now than connections and community. No longer can we be lone wolves. We must find our personal tribe. So the Three of Pentacles is talking about it in terms of physical reality, our physically manifested experience reality. The Pentacles is the suit of, physical, tangible, whatever, physical, tangible life. And so to me, what this card is talking about is creating physical community in our lives. For example, for me personally, what this means is I've been getting the hit for a while that I need to start running Akashic Records and Awakening courses in my community, and possibly start offering sessions in my community. And I have been resisting because I'm very busy. I have enough going on online with all of you. I have enough going on with having children. But I have been feeling that urge for about 6 months, and I can feel that the reason I haven't acted on it is because it wasn't quite time, and now it is time. It is time, especially if they end up, shutting off the internet, which I don't know. I mean, we've heard that threatened before, but this is the year where I really feel like that might actually be possible. I don't know. Maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't. But regardless, there's something so important about our tangible, grounded community. We cannot create things alone as powerfully as we can together. I'm not suggesting that you can't manifest anything alone and that you must now always, work with others. But when we come together and reinforce each other, we advance projects, we advance objectives so much faster and more efficiently when they are aligned soul connections. So this is talking about the real world effects that we want to have. What it comes down to is, like I said, for me, I already know where. I know where I have to go. I know who I have to connect with. I know what venue I'm going to hold these things. I just have to put it in motion, and I have to just prioritize and make the time for it. For other people, it might be fostering friendships in your local area. It might be organizing like a meetup or something with other like-minded people in your physical area. So you have physical friends in your life that are doing this kind of thing, that are awake, that are other indigo star seeds. They're open-minded. Doesn't mean you have to agree on everything. And also who, will not look at you like you're crazy when you're talking about psychic things, spiritual awakening things, etc. So this card applies through October, November, and December. Physical communities, physical connections, especially around the objectives that we wish to see materialized in this physical realm. The card specifically for October is the Three of Cups. And what this is talking about is kind of like finding your coven in a manner of speaking. Now, I'm not Wiccan. I don't really personally, I don't carry the witch archetype. So, that word can feel like it's just associated with that, but I hope you get the idea. It is, the Three of Cups is around the psychic realm, the emotional realm, it's empaths, it's magic, it's development of all those psychic emotional things. So it is time for you to find your group. And those groups include places like Soul Space, which if you're watching this on YouTube or whatever, Soul Space is my Facebook group and it's dope as hell. And everybody in it is fucking awesome. And you get a lot of support, a lot. Everybody is so beautiful. The most beautiful souls. There's zero trolling there ever. It's just such a wonderful, wonderful space. So please join if you aren't already part of it. But the Three of Cups is kind of talking about spaces like that, like Soul Space or other Facebook groups, or maybe Discord groups or whatever with other like-minded souls. But it's very intimate. It's smaller groups that you can trust, where you can be truly vulnerable and you can work to develop connections that transcend time and space and that synergistically elevate all of you. One of the, so there's this group that I'm in that is a crop of women that I worked with last year that all really synced up together, and they have this beautiful sisterhood chat where they just bring forward whatever's happening, whether it's a celebration or a cool synchronicity or something really hard that they're dealing with. And they love each other up and build each other up and develop their psychic abilities together. And it's really beautiful and gratifying to witness that, that's what came of me bringing them all together to work with me. It's like that. And you don't have to work with me, but of course, I would just be over the moon to meet you if I haven't met you already, or to dive deeper with you, but it doesn't have to be through me. There are so many people offering online courses around psychic development, spiritual development, how to read the tarot, how to read the Akashic records, psychic development boot camp, that kind of stuff. There's the priestess codes, the priestess transmissions, used to be called the priestess codes, the priestess transmissions book and reading club community. There is, let's see what else. things like masterminds and mystery schools. Like I have my mystery school 1212, which is all about calibrating to and becoming anointed into and stepping into the 12-dimensional consciousness and being an avatar for the Crystalla 12-dimensional consciousness on Earth. There are so many options. It's just time to find yours and do it and put it on the front burner. These are not things to do in your fucking hobby time anymore. And I know, like, the grind is really coming down. Truly. I just came downstairs yesterday from a day full of recordings and readings, and my partner told me that our landlord had informed him that we have a rent increase. I know things are getting real for people. And I know it's like that by design. You understand, to keep us in our traumatized survival chakras, running reversals, running fear algorithms so that we can't think clearly and we do not step into our power. If you allow yourself to be pulled down there, you are allowing the false matrix, dark agenda hijackery to succeed. It is on all of us to basically call the bluff of that false matrix and insist on holding on to the coding we carry inside, what we're here to express as a soul, to insist on doing our psychic development work, our indigo work, our starseed work, our angelic work. Those things must be prioritized. The Three of Cups also comes through to me as, I recorded a podcast episode yesterday talking about how the dark entities are stirring. And this has to do with what I was talking about at the beginning of this video, which I said was going to be short, and it's not, because me. But with this incoming darkness that I feel, I also feel the dark things acting up. They are, I'm trying to think of a way to put it. I was going to say they're looking forward to a feeding frenzy, but I just don't want to paint any gross pictures, but it's a little bit like the energy of, in Stranger Things, when the Demogorgon and all of his like weird zombies are coming. It's like in Game of Thrones when they say winter is coming and also the Night Walkers are coming. It's like in Harry Potter, where like the Dementors, even if you can't see them, you feel them in the air, sucking the joy out of it that they are looshing off of. That's what it's like. It's hard to not be taken down by those entities, especially if we can't see them. But certainly if we can see them, but there's just something so unnerving and like about a dark consciousness being in our field and like trying to take something from us. It can be really scary. And I have seen them like more active, hitting more heavily lately than I have in a long time. And so the Three of Cups to me also means like we need each other right now. We need each other. We have to form networks. I'm putting out a call across soul space in this energy reading on Instagram for a soul sister that is getting harassed by entities that believe they own her, and like she is getting pulled down. She's fighting so hard and she's getting so exhausted and she's getting pulled down. And I'm inviting you to lend your energy towards her. Just, you don't need to know her name, you don't need to know the details, just envision, connect with, through the quantum field, through your heart, connect with this soul sister who is being pulled down by dark forces, and just blast those dark forces with your light and surround her with your light, because she's one of us. She is ours. We can't just let her go, but we need to come together in these rescue missions and in these efforts to hold the light. We can't just hold the light as a single light in the darkness. We must form connections with each other and form a light grid of human consciousness across the earth. So it's really important. And also I'll say, like, look at the artwork on this card, on the Three of Cups card. It's really beautiful. The Three of Cups is not a dark card. I'm feeling a lot of darkness in October, but I take heart in looking at the Three of Cups because I'm like, so many more soul family connections are going to be made. So much acceleration of the embodiment of our soul mission is going to unfold through this process. Because sometimes, like, we sit around and hum and haw, and we know that we're psychic. We know that we have a mission. We know that we're here for a reason. We have gifts. We can do healings. We can do, we can transmute and alchemize the darkness, all the things. But the convincing nature of 3D life within the false matrix ridiculous systems that we live in, so the rhythms of, getting up in the morning, going to work 5 days a week, living for the weekend, it's just this like grindy kind of rhythm that we're in. And we, even though we're not necessarily happy in it, we stay in it and we hesitate and we overthink and we don't really apply our psychic gifts. We don't really activate ourselves because there's just this like schism between feeling very human and then kind of knowing that you're psychic as hell. I feel like what's going to happen in this period of darkness is that we are going to naturally find our soul tribe, our soul family, make those close, intimate connections, get into the programs and the containers that we need to get into, and we're going to activate our shit, because there's just like this, the compression of the darkness is sort of what's needed to like ignite the furnace and catalyze this change in a new direction. So that's the energy for the quarter and for the month of October. I hope this was helpful to you. Please take action on the things that I'm saying and find your soul community. Step into your psychic development, your magical development. If you haven't already, do not do it alone. Do it with somebody else, at least one other person, at least 2 other people. Find your small community, find your bigger communities, and like, let's do this. We need to work together and light up the grid together. I also want to tell you about something that I have on offer, given that we're going into a dark period, an extra dark period, that I would love to invite you into. So in October, I'm rerunning one of my favorite programs that I've ever done called Magic in the Dark, which is all about trauma alchemy and shadow alchemy. It's working through painful experiences and finding the magic in the dark, finding the treasures, finding your psychic gifts, finding your personal expansion. And this year, I'm also teaching, I'm combining it with the psychic activation course. So after you've cleared out your trauma and, essentially cleaned out your 4th dimensional astral field, then the psychic activation course is to illuminate your abilities. When you have unmetabolized trauma, in your field, what it does is it cranks, tightens, and constricts your nervous system. And your nervous system is the filtration mechanism that allows psychic information in and out. Your nervous system and your chakra system. When they're both full of trauma, they're tightly coiled and they're full, and they don't let anything else in. Or you can have, it's tightly coiled, but also you can have an open crown or an open root or an open third eye, but everything else is tight. And so you're just getting blasted with information from there. And it's even more traumatizing because it can't flow in the natural directions it's supposed to. You can't be grounded. You can't anchor it into your being. So you feel completely like freak the fuck out. You wonder if you're crazy. You feel delusional, unbalanced. You feel invaded. You don't have good shielding mechanisms. So we have to work through our trauma first, then we can activate our psychic abilities in a way that allows us to be in control of them and allows us to develop them and increase them according to what our nervous system and our chakra system can handle. So I'm combining the two of those together. And this year I'm teaching 14 new modules, 7 for Magic in the Dark, 7 for psychic activation, and they are about the chakras. So for Magic in the Dark, I'm going to go through every chakra, give it its own module where I talk about the different types of trauma that I see in like during readings and work with private clients that I see stored in each chakra. And we're going to go through a clearing process to scoop that trauma out and resolve it. Then in the psychic activation course, I'm again going to do a unique module for every chakra to activate that chakra back into the like pure crystal clear portal or vortex that it is designed to be, that connects you with other dimensions of reality. So I'm really excited to do that. I'm offering them bundled together at a really, really great price. And that's so much value. You get lifetime access. If you can't be on the live calls, it's not a big deal. You get lifetime access to the replays. You also get everything that was previously recorded for Magic in the Dark and the Psychic Activation course. Additionally, I have a masterclass coming up this week, a 2-part masterclass. It'll be on October 7th and 8th, so Friday and Saturday, and it's called Understanding Entities Part 2, Reptilian Edition. So if you were in Understanding Entities Part 1, you automatically get this new one that I'm doing. If you were not in Understanding Entities Part 1 and you purchase a ticket to the Part 2 Reptilian Edition, you automatically get Understanding Entities Part 1. So right there, it's a 2-for-1 thing. It's super, super high value. And this one is going to be about reptilians, but also about like all entities. There's so much information, how to recognize them, how to shield from them, how to remove them, how to detect them in yourself, detect them in others, that kind of stuff. And the Saturday, I was like, I said and for a reason, I forgot for a second. On the Saturday, I'm going to be doing a group kind of Akashic reading where I select some people that I'm guided to select and read their field to detect any entities and bring forward any information around how to deal with those entities. And the final thing I want to invite you into is my Mystery School 1212, which is the highest level way to be in my world. It's truly my inner circle. It's a small, intimate group. We are connected. We meet every week. We're doing things like forgiveness and cord cutting, remote viewing, heart portal opening, 17-dimensional chakra activation, 12-strand DNA illumination, quantum space clearing, dissolving density, timeline creation. It's so much. It is my mystery school to teach you how to open up all the way into your 12-dimensional consciousness and anchor it into your being. When we do this, we become ascended avatar vessels for the Christos Sophia consciousness on earth, or in other words, the holy divine feminine, the holy divine masculine, closest to the God source and the angelic fields, where we repattern this entire reality just by being. It's an extremely, extremely powerful state to occupy. And I know that many in my field are meant to illuminate and activate this original angelic template, activate their dragon archetype, and to become an avatar for the Christ Sophia consciousness. So those are all the things that I have on offer for the next couple of months to move us through these dark periods. Check the link in the show notes for the different offerings for the details, for the sign up page. And please like this video. If you resonate with it, please share it with anybody that you think would benefit from it. And if you aren't already subscribed, please subscribe. The more viewers that I have, more subscribers that I have, the more that these videos get shared in people's YouTube suggestions. So I really thank you so much for subscribing if you have already. Please leave me any thoughts in the comments. I do read them, although I don't always get back to them. It's a matter of having little children. But your comments really, really mean the world to me. They, in my moments of self-doubt where I wonder if these are even important or if I should even bother, those are the things that like boost me back up and keep me going. So thank you so much. It is truly an honor to serve with you on this ground level during this time of ascension and a lot of turbulence. And just know that everything that you're doing is of immense, immense, immense value just by your very existence, just by you being here. You are radiating corrective energetic patterns into the simulation that reclaim consciousness and reclaim this realm on behalf of everyone. So thank you.